Hi, everyone. Welcome to All About the Joy, the private lounge. And with us is our friend and neighbor, our cool part of the crew, our namesake, Joy. How you doing, Joy?
I did really well tonight.
So I know that a lot of people know your story. A lot of people have seen you on the show. And if they haven't, they should, because you're on pretty much regularly now, at least once a month with Andrea and Cynthia and Tony. And of course, you're welcomed all the time because you're part of the crew there. But we wanted to have a conversation. You had reached out to me because you really wanted to talk about something that was dear to you and something that you're working on. But I first want to apologize to you. And I know you probably have no idea why I have to apologize to you. And I'm going to do it on air, and this is going to be in the podcast. I am always doing the show, and I'm just talking. It's part of what I do. And the other day, I don't know if it was the last time you were on or before, we were trying to figure out why Cynthia couldn't see you, right? She couldn't see you on her screen.
Yeah.
And we kept saying, can you see us? Can you see us? Whatever. And then I said, Joy, can you see us? And you said, yes. But so when I'm editing, everybody else in the room is like, their face is cringing. And I didn't think anything of it at all. Didn't even think about the verbiage I used. And so I want to apologize to you and ask you what the appropriate thing is to do. So for people who don't know, Joy will share with us later why this is a big deal. But when I said to you, can you hear me? I mean, can you see me? Can you see everyone? Was that offensive to you, or did it bother you, or?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. No, that's actually a little bit of a compliment because, yes, I'm blind. However, that's only a small part of my life. No, if somebody forgets that I'm blind, which a lot of my friends do, I take that as a compliment. I really do, because I don't want to just be known as, oh, Joy, that's the blind girl,
Right.
because there's so much more to me than just being blind or visually impaired.
Right. I think that was kind of one of the things that I really like about you, is that you don't get uptight about people making a mistake or people I love that you're saying it's like a compliment. I don't think Cynthia knows. I don't think Mario knows. They might have an idea, but I don't think they fully know unless they were on the show with you and you explained it a few times. But I think that's what I like about you is, maybe if I were with you, I would notice it more or not. I don't know. But at some point, it must just become part of all of your friends and your family's lifestyle. It's not like the only thing about you. It's like me being Black and Latina. It's not the only thing about me, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because, if we're out and about, I use my cane. So naturally, a lot of, I won't say naturally, if they see the cane, they'll know, oh, okay, she's blind. And there are some people who don't know what a white cane is.
Really? Doesn't it sometimes have red at the end?
Yes.
It has some coloring.
Yes. A lot of times, and I actually have two right here. This is we call this tiny 10 because it's really small. This one actually can fold up, 6, 7 inches.
Right.
And it folds out to 52 inches.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this one I do believe has the red on it.
It does.
Okay. Now, however, canes are changing. They are changing. I have canes that are different colors. And now this is the one that I use. This is my brand new cane. And
okay. It has blue at the end.
It's purple. It's almost like a palette purple. But even the white part changes. You can customize them, or actually I use duct tape to customize some of my canes.
Oh, why do you use duct tape? Is there a texture thing, or is it just?
No, actually, you can get duct tape in the craft department that's just so many different patterns, so many colors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're just feeling funky, so you might use a different type of tape or whatever. Do you have many of them? Like, is it a stylistic thing? It must be like a fashion statement.
It is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It should be. Well, I appreciate you. I would never intentionally do anything to hurt anyone. And I thought it was like, because I do the editing afterwards. And so I'm always watching, going back and replaying. And I'm like, why are they doing that? Like, I thought maybe I missed something in the chat, you know what I mean? Which often happens. But then I realized they were shocked that I had said, can you see everyone? Meaning, are you comfortable hearing everyone? And I didn't even think anything of it. So, but anyways, thanks for clearing that up. Now you wanted to, go ahead. Were you going to say something else?
Yeah, I was just going to say this. I say I watch TV, I read books, but, I'll have the TV on, but I'm listening or have audio description on. And I read a lot of books. So, and I call it reading, but I'm actually listening to it. That's okay.
Right. Yeah. I guess it would be hard to always have to conform to what main society is always doing. And the only thing that I can relate to in that is being a woman of color. But I think for you, not that there's a right or wrong or better or worse, right? We all have issues we need to deal with, but I would think, it makes me more aware of the things. I think I shared the story once where I had my hip surgery and I had a cane for a while. And I started noticing something I never noticed before, how uneven the sidewalks are. I noticed how hard it was to get fast across the street when they don't have the signals that, I just noticed these things I never noticed before because I had a small, tiny, temporary, infringement. And I thought to myself, my goodness, we really as a society do not do our due justice to make this comfortable for everyone.
Right.
And so it was just an interesting thing. So, but thank you for allowing me to apologize and letting me know that it was okay. And it actually gave you a compliment. I don't know what a blind person acts like, so I assume they act normal, just like me. So that was an interesting question that came to me. You weren't supposed to say that. And I'm say what? I was so confused. So, but thank you. But what did you want to talk about? I'm so intrigued by this nonprofit that you brought to my attention. Why don't you tell us how you got into it and a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. The organization is called You Can Give. In 2015, my good friends James and Wendy Bain created this organization that's a nonprofit. And what they do is take old canes that people no longer need, or if they're broken or in need of repair, they will take them, refurbish them. And so far, it has gone out to over 33 different countries. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Now, do they give them to other people who can't maybe afford them, or
Yes.
do they just fix them for people?
Okay, now how this works is because in other countries, a white cane, which would normally be $50 in the US, can cost up
Mhm.
to $300 in another country
$300?
and more.
Wow.
Yes. And if you're blind, chances are you're going to be poor. You just
Oh,
can't afford that.
okay, wait. Why? And again, this is me really not knowing enough about this entire part of our community and the world. I'll just say I don't know enough about the blind community. So why would blind people most likely or more likely be poor? I've never even thought about that.
Yeah, because in other countries, it's not like the US that has the ADA law, and that's American with Disability Act.
Right.
Have that type of program. So a lot of this, and not only blind people, but people with disabilities
Right.
are
Right.
pretty much cast aside. So
Mm.
they can't, function. They can't travel independently. They a lot of times don't hold jobs, but a lot of times they are in an impoverished community.
Right.
So, and it's very difficult to climb out of that hole once you're there.
Yeah, and I would assume also that in other countries, and I'm just assuming you probably might know more about this, is third world countries especially wouldn't even have the right kind of things you need in order to travel easily or read easily or understand things easily. And then on top of it, you can't purchase a cane very well because you don't have a job. Or, I mean, it just seems insane. Wow.
It is. It really is. And what they've done is they also have donated over 450 solar Bibles, which not only contains the Bible, but it actually contains instructions on how to use a white cane.
What's a solar? Did you say solar Bible?
Yes.
I don't know what that means. I apologize.
Okay. And then what that is just basically a little handheld device that is solar powered.
Oh, and so it does audio.
Yes, it does do audio.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. I learn something new every day. That's great.
Right. We can just like pop in a couple of AA batteries or whatever, but in a country that is lacking, basic necessities, they don't have that privilege.
That's right.
So they have the sun. So the solar Bibles and players work best.
Wow, that's fantastic. So they've donated how many again of those of the solar Bibles that also contains instructions for the canes?
Yes, that's over 450.
Now, where do
Yeah.
they get most of their funding? Is there any grants available to them or are they just asking for the public? How do they do it? It's an
I,
incredible thing they're doing. So,
yeah, a little bit of both. Right now, we're trying to find a grant writer that would possibly donate their time
mhm,
and help write some grants so they can get more funding to, you know, be able to help more people.
right. I think that's amazing. And do they have a website or do they have a GoFundMe page or anything like that?
Yes, it's called youcangive.org.
Youcangive.org.
No, you can, CANE.
Oh, I love it. We're going to keep this in though, because that'll help clarify it. You say it again. You can.
Youcangive.org.
Okay. So YOU, Cane, CANE, give, GIVE .org.
Yes.
Oh, that is fantastic. Because even how I say cane, it came across the other way, right? I was saying the other word, which we're not going to say to mess it up. I will make sure to post that where people can go and give and donate and see if people, there's a lot of grant writers out there that would love to do something like this. It's such a great thing to do, number one, but it's also a great thing to put on your resume. So I hope anyone and everyone who's listening on LinkedIn who really wants to help a great organization doing a great, great thing will turn around and just go to the website or reach out to me and I'll put you in touch with Joy and just, let's help other people. You know what I mean? Let's do something that can really change people's lives because a cane does what for someone in the blind community, Joy? Can you explain how a cane might work for someone who doesn't know?
Absolutely. And let me just give you a little bit of my backstory along with it because I know 7 years ago, I was trying to get more cane training and I kind of fell through the cracks. I was needing more training to more orientation and mobility. They call it O&M for short.
Mm-hmm.
I had never been properly trained. Even though that I was using a cane, I was still not properly trained on how to safely cross a street because we have to do it just slightly different.
Okay.
And so I actually searched high and low from one end of this country to the other, literally.
Wow.
And because I kind of fell through the cracks with vocational rehabilitation, I didn't qualify for O&M training because I didn't have a job at that time.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So I was having trouble finding a job because I needed the O&M training.
It's like a vicious circle.
It was a vicious circle. And so I searched the web and found an organization called Guide Dogs for the Blind in San Francisco.
I've heard of them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Lighthouse for the Blind. So they joined together to do an intense, when I say intense, it was an intense week of O&M training. And it was geared towards getting a guide dog, which at that time that was my goal.
Right.
And so I went to San Francisco, first time on a plane.
Oh, wow.
First time traveling completely by myself. I got on a plane, flew to San Francisco.
Wow.
Yes. And for that week that I was in San Francisco, oh my gosh, I don't know how many miles I logged, but it was a lot. I was all over San Francisco.
And that's not an easy place to walk around in, by the way. It's not.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not. Okay.
So I was able to, I had a wonderful trainer who taught me how to safely cross the street by listening to the way the traffic is flowing, how to cross safely, even in very, very busy intersections, because I was kind of nervous to even cross a 2-lane street.
Absolutely.
By the end of that week, I was crossing a 7-lane highway in San Francisco.
Right. And all you really needed was to have someone show you how to use the cane.
Yes.
Wow.
So, and that goes to show you what just a little bit of training can do for somebody's independence.
Right.
So if somebody who's never had a cane, and by the way, there are several trips that have people, they went to Kenya. There's a group going to Colombia, I believe it's in October, to give the canes and do training.
That's amazing. Oh, I love this organization already. This is amazing. Now, can we back up for a moment just because I don't think, and I'm asking you because I want to know, but I think other people would be interested too. I know that you are not always blind, right? It gradually happened to you. Is there a major difference between someone who was born blind in learning how to use a cane, or maybe they've learned it earlier, hopefully, as opposed to someone like yourself who lost their eyesight over time?
I think it is just simply because if someone's born blind, they've never known how to utilize that sense. They
Right.
utilize everything else. But as someone like from me, who from the age of 9 to 11, I went from perfect eyesight to legally blind.
Wow.
And that was fast.
Yeah.
And so I didn't actually start using a cane up until about '07, when I
Wow.
decided to go back to college and finish my degree. And because my daughter was like, Mom, you're going to have to start using your cane. People think you're drunk.
Oh, no.
So,
Oh,
and,
right.
and as someone who was older, it kind of took a little bit of a bite out of your pride,
Yeah.
because, it was almost like, oh God, everybody's going to know I'm blind. And that
Um,
it took a little bit of independence away. But
mhm.
in reality, it actually gave me more independence by using my cane, because
Wow.
run into things as much. I didn't fall down steps as much. So it's, that part of it, it takes getting used to.
Mhm.
But I mean, like anything, everything takes a little learning, but it actually gave me more independence.
Right. I met you on a different app. It was during COVID or right after COVID or something. And you were at the, I don't know how to say this right, but you were at the end part of losing your sight. And I remember you were most upset about Christmas. And that's kind of when I first met you. You were talking because you love Christmas, you love the decorating, and I mean I know you still do because you talked about it this past year. But I think you were starting to realize that you weren't going to see it the same as you were over all these years. So are you completely blind now, or is that an offensive question to even ask? And
It is.
please share with me. It teaches me and everyone else listening.
Oh, absolutely. It is not offensive. I welcome questions. That's the only way people's going to learn,
Yeah.
is through asking questions, because you can sit and wonder and think, oh God, is that going to be offensive? Just ask,
Right. Right.
in a respectful manner. You know,
Hmm.
majority of people are going to welcome those questions.
Right. So no swearing, be like, yo, yo, yo. No, like being like a swear word and being angry about it, right? Just ask politely. I got you. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's hard not to tiptoe. I have to tell you, especially in this day and age, which has nothing to do with the blind community and everything to do with all of us being like, am I saying the right word? Am I using the right pronoun? Can I say this
Right.
person is this? Can I,
Right.
whatever. So it's not just you. I'm always tiptoeing. I got yelled at the other day because I said you guys in a staff meeting. I didn't get yelled at, but I was told I have to be careful because saying you guys is not appropriate. And I'm like,
Right.
okay, I will do better. You know what I mean? Like I get annoyed, but I like do better. So anyways, but are you at that point where you cannot see at all?
No, I have what is called light perception. So I can tell the majority of the time if it's daylight or dark,
Okay.
and I just can't make out a lot of detail at all, or any
Wow.
detail. So,
Is it going to get worse?
yes, it will.
Wow.
It will.
And are you okay with that? I mean, probably not, but
you know,
that was a dumb question. I'm sorry. As I said it, I'm like, dumb question. Sorry.
you know, I wish I had my eyesight. Because there's some beautiful things in this world.
Yeah.
But you kind of learn to accept it. You go through, and I'll tell you this: I have, and at different times, I've gone through all 5 stages of grief.
Yeah.
So, and at times it does get a little frustrating. When
Yeah.
I can't see something, or try to do something that I actually need eyesight for. The traveling is like the worst, because I have to
Mhm.
depend on other people to
Strangers.
that too. Yeah,
Oh, I missed what you said. I'm sorry. I spoke over you, and you said because you have to depend on who?
other people
Mhm.
take me.
Mhm.
Because there's times I would like to go shopping, or do whatever, and I have to wait for somebody to take me. You know,
Yeah.
so and that does get a little frustrating.
Yeah.
But there's ways to work around things, and technology is advancing in ways that, oh my goodness, even 10 years ago,
Right.
because I open up my phone and Be My Eyes or Ira can either connect me to a live person that can help me.
Who's Ira? Did you just say Ira?
Ira, yes. And that is an app that is,
Oh,
you
okay.
do pay for that, but it is more secure. The people on the other end are vetted. So if you need to, show a little piece of personal item like a mail or a bill or whatever, that's
Mhm.
confidential.
Yeah, you know what? I think I volunteered once or applied to volunteer for an organization that wanted people to help in this type of thing. And for some reason, I never ended up doing it. Probably that I didn't vet well. I have no idea. But I remember, I don't think it was called IRA though. So I'll have to send it
That
to you to see if you know what I'm talking about. But
would probably be my eyes.
yes. Oh, is that a common one? Is that a common thing? Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Now, now, Be My Eyes is, oh my goodness, they are so wonderful because now they have a AI feature
Oh,
that
great.
you can actually take a picture of something and it's really amazingly accurate. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't end up doing it though. Like I wish I did. It was a great organization, but for some reason I didn't pass something because they vet you completely. And I think I had just gotten out of college or something and I was like, I'll help volunteer. But that's what it was. That's right. Yeah, it's a great organization. I mean, is it a great organization from your point of view? Okay, it is. Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh
Yes.
wow, that is such a blast from the past for me. No, look at I always want to do something, a lot of us talk the talk, but we don't actually do things. And when I first came out here, I worked at the Boys and Girls Club because I thought I should give back to disadvantaged kids like I was growing up, and I couldn't
Right.
hack it. I couldn't do it. It was too heart-wrenching. Well, no, it was too heart-wrenching to see, and it was emotional for me. It was so painful to see little kids who didn't have parents and little kids who were in foster homes. And so I knew that was not I had to be far removed. I hadn't done the work I needed to do for myself in order
Right.
to volunteer in that way. And I don't think I can. Like I still don't volunteer for organizations like that because it's
Right.
too close to me somehow. So that's why I was looking for other places. And I ended up doing some volunteer work for the deaf, which was interesting. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw that in there, but I didn't want people to think I'm a crazy woman. But yeah. Well, what else do you want to share about not just, your situation, but about this organization and what you're hoping? I know it's your friend, but are you doing other things with this organization or what's the goal? I guess is what my question is.
Right. And the goal is to be able to send more canes around the world to help
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
I know that Jimmy also has, it's called Custom Cane. And now that's integrated into his website. So you can actually find Custom Cane on the youcangive.org website.
Mhm.
He actually will take and does custom canes. So there's so many different designs, colors of canes that you can actually buy, and the proceeds go back into You Can Give.
God, that's so wonderful. So actors, people like myself who went through certain, here's why I said actors, because as actors, we always want to have some of our own props when we go into auditions. So if you want to purchase something that you need, why not purchase it from a nonprofit or an organization who's doing good stuff? That's why I'm saying that. I also had hip surgery, as I've said 15 million times in 2021. And, I still have my cane. It's not a custom cane or whatever, but why not get something fabulous? Like now I have it as if I go out to an audition, I keep it all. I keep everything.
Right,
Actually, somebody borrowed it because they couldn't afford to buy one. They had what do you call it? They had a brace on. So I said, don't, I know it has to do height and stuff, but it was kind of the same, because you have to make
yeah,
sure you have the right height for yourself and your weight or whatever. But yeah, I kind of love that. And I'm so glad that you're sharing it with us. What else can we do? We can go to the website. Are there other ways that we can help on a personal level? Can we donate money there? Not just right? Not just canes. You want to donate some, even if it's like $5 or $5,000. Is
oh,
that right?
absolutely. And when you go to the website, and that is youcangive.org, there is a donate button there.
Okay.
So, and because not everything that's needed to refurbish a cane is donated, they actually have to purchase
Right.
as the let me show you the tips. There are
Yes.
tips, and these wear out. By the way, they do wear out,
Right.
and these are like bungee cords.
Hmm.
Those and all of this, and even like the difference of your cane, all of that has to be refurbished and redone if it's broken, and not all of that is donated by different companies. So they actually have to purchase some of that equipment to
Well,
redo.
let me add a little bit. So, I mean, a lot of people know this about me, but I worked for a nonprofit for over 20 years. I was the executive director of a nonprofit. And what people don't understand about nonprofits is it's not just about refurbishing what they're trying to do or raising money to do the thing that they're doing as a nonprofit. there are also administrative costs. And I don't know why nonprofits hide. I mean, I know why they hide away from this. You know what I mean? They hide away from it because they don't want people to think that they're all getting, millions of dollars for the executive director, or, like they're spending money on new fancy computers or whatever, right? There's this weird stigma that if you're a nonprofit, you can't actually, be okay with a decent computer. It's an actual office and it's an actual work. And then they have to get all the canes together. They have to ship them out. They have people bring them out there. Like all that costs money. All of that is administrative costs. So as much as I want to, be like, yes, it's about the canes and we have to, but it's also about the people doing the work. And good people doing good work should also be able to have some money to pay for the shipping, or whatever. So donate to a cause that matters to you. And if you want to check out nonprofits, you can. Nonprofits by law have to list their tax, their returns, I forget what they're called, not 1099s, those are for independent contractors, but they're 990s. I'm sorry, that's what it is. They're 990s, and it's their tax forms and how much money they're spending on A, B, C, and D, but don't get it twisted. Administrative costs are also part of running a nonprofit. So I just want people to know that yes, they're going to refurbish the canes, but we want to help them because they're a good organization as well, trying to do the right thing and a good thing to help other people. That matters to me so much, Joy. It really does, because people get caught up in too much of I don't know. How much are they spending $1 to the $5 I gave them? You know what I mean? It gets a little crazy. So I'm sorry. I just want to throw that in there. Let me ask you this question, and you can say, add on afterwards, but is there something as individuals, we kind of talked about this last time on the show, as individuals that we can do to be better people to people who are blind? Like, what are some things that maybe are your pet peeves or things that you do like or don't like that other people do?
Oh, goodness.
We're going to be here for like 3 hours, right? Sorry.
Most people are very kind. However, and most people have good intentions. However, when someone comes up and grabs my arm and tries to lead me someplace, that's a little disturbing.
Right. Because you don't know them, right?
And you don't know where they're taking you.
I'm sorry to laugh, but it's just they mean well, but.
Well, they mean, and I'll give you just a quick little example. Last month, I was actually in the Miami airport, and I was in the restroom.
Right.
I had walked up because I was going to go wash my hands, because you really need to in the Miami the airport. Just saying, like looking for the sinks, and I thought, there was a counter there, so I thought, okay, is this the sink? Well, this little sweet lady just grabs my arm and leads me straight outside.
I'm so sorry.
And okay. I'm glad I have a lot of hand sanitizer.
Exactly. She meant well, right?
She did mean well. Yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's just little things like that, and if you think someone may need assistance, just always ask,
Yeah. And I kind of liked, because you had told me this story before, and I kind of like the idea of if somebody came up to me, some random person, and grabbed me by the elbow, I would turn around and punch them. Like my first reaction would be somebody's trying to, and I'm sure this happens to people all the time in the blind community. So you're used to it and you understand, but it still must be very scary.
It is.
Yeah. So I think we have to think about that as people who are not blind. Even though we may mean well, we need to ask people first. And do you mind that? I don't mean for you to talk for the entire blind community, but what is the appropriate way to maybe try to help someone if you think they need help? Most times you don't need help, but if you need help.
Just, say, hey, do you need assistance with anything? Just be polite. It be as simple as, is there a water fountain nearby? Something very simple. But it's always nice and courteous to ask instead of just assuming.
Yeah.
Because, I've known people who, strangers has just grabbed them by the arm, led them across the street, and they were like, I didn't need to cross the street.
Oh my God. I'm sorry I shouldn't be laughing, but I know people mean well, but it is kind of funny when you tell it. Oh my goodness. And I'm trying to think, have I ever done this? I tend to always, I kind of do the opposite. I tend to stay away and move out of the way. Especially we have people in the community here who are in wheelchairs. And I see people all the time go up to them and they're just sitting, enjoying the view or whatever. And I've seen people get a little bit upset about that, because they're just trying to enjoy the day. But I've seen people I'll go up and ask people, and they're just like not frustrated out of being annoyed or whatever, but they've been asked probably 15 times and can't enjoy the scenery, But I tend to just stay away. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but I don't bother people who I think are disabled out in public. Is that
Right.
wrong?
No, I mean, and that's the thing is like, if you see someone that you really believe that needs assistance,
Right.
I'm sure that they're going to welcome the help.
Yeah. And
No,
that's
it's
anyone.
not, but I
Right.
know, and you may edit this out, but I know last month we were on a group cruise, and this is kudos to Carnival.
Right.
Little was apprehensive about going on Carnival because you see all the crazy videos of everything going on. But Carnival Celebration, we were on Celebration.
Mm-hmm.
The corporation did an amazing job of training the crew members. There was 67 blind people on this cruise.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. 67. So what they did, all the crew members, they trained them very, very well. They had several meetings on this. And the crew members, there were several times that, because Carnival Celebration is a huge ship. It's
Right.
very,
Yeah.
and crew members, if they saw us and, we may, have looked like we needed assistance, they would ask.
Right.
If we needed assistance. And they would help us in the buffet or whatever, but, and, take us to wherever we needed to go.
So, look, I don't do cruises at all, but I'm really glad that Carnival did justice to people on that trip. I think one of the things I liked, because somebody asked a question about because some people had dogs, what do you call them? Guide dogs. And someone asked where do they, put so that they could go to the bathroom or whatever. What did they do on the ship? And I thought that was fascinating.
Yes. And Carnival had the litter boxes because a lot of people had balconies, so they would put them on the balcony. And then there were different places on the ship that had the litter boxes. A lot of it was just kind of out of the way places where there wasn't a lot of people that would, travel in that area.
Right.
And they had the litter boxes where the dogs could go and relieve themselves.
Hey, so I'm all for companies doing a really great job of helping people have a great time. And did you have a great time? And was this just a group? This was all a group of you that hang out or part of an organization? Or what was it?
It was actually literally people from across the country and a couple of other countries. There was some people from Canada, and I'm thinking there was somewhere else. Oh gosh, I can't remember now where the other one was from, but yeah. So there was literally came from even California.
Wow. Okay.
And so what it was, there was a group cruise in 2019, and it's called All Paws on Deck.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then they were going to do it the following year, and then COVID hit. So they didn't get to do it until this year. And in 2026, we're going to do it again.
Oh, that's fantastic. And is it affordable for most people, or is it a little bit on the high end or something?
No, Carnival is actually really affordable. Now, a lot of people, may or may not have good jobs where we can just afford a cruise, all the time. But where we're doing it every other year, that gives people who want to go time to save up for it.
To go. Oh, that sounds fantastic.
And everybody's welcome, sighted or blind.
Sighted or blind. All right. It would be this. Oh, you know what? I thought that was a separate organization going on, but that's not what happened. It was just a normal cruise, and you all from all over the world. You're not part of any group. You just all decided to go on this cruise.
Right.
So did Carnival or do these types of places say we accommodate, or do you just assume they accommodate you?
Oh, now this is where it's starting to come in. Now, because they do sell out of the U.S., they do abide by the ADA guidelines. And I'm actually in the process of researching other ships and other companies because Royal Caribbean and Carnival now offer what is called sighted guides. They used to only offer interpreters for the deaf. Okay. Now they are offering sighted guides, and which means if you're in a theater, they can let you know what's going on stage or basically give you assistance. Even if I believe it's even out in your port, they can help you around the port as well. Now, that's the thing is so many people, well, I won't say so many people. There were a few people on the Carnival, and John Hill, who is the brand ambassador, they just was just going on about the dogs going to smell. They didn't want the dogs on the ship. The dogs are not on the cruise. And they just did not And there was one lady who wanted a refund because the dogs were going to be on the ship.
Wow.
And he let them know that because it is ADA and we do have the right to cruise, that guide dogs are acceptable.
Mhm.
Support animals are not.
Good. I'm so sick of the support dogs. Yeah, I'm so sorry. No, that was terrible. I'm so sorry. I think some people abuse that though.
Oh, absolutely, they abuse it. And that's what is bad, because the people who abuse it makes it difficult for everybody who really needs it.
Who really needs it, right?
But and that's the thing is my husband and I love the cruise so much, we actually booked a back-to-back cruise.
That's awesome.
So we're going to do that, and it's just we enjoy a vacation just like everybody else.
Well, it seems, look at the people like that turn around and, demand this, demand that, and don't have the ability to be considerate and kind and understanding. And how is somebody else enjoying a cruise affecting you? If it's a big boat, I assume it's not like just, 7 little cabins or something on a little rowboat. Like it's those huge ass stupid cruise boats, right? I say stupid because I don't cruise. I don't get on boats. Okay. But I just, just in that entitlement, that weird thing that only for me and not for anyone else. I hate that whole attitude. It's so strange. And those are usually the people that also can probably get their own private boat or something. Then go do that. You just go rent your own private boat and leave everyone alone. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Only 37 guide dogs on board, but there were people complaining about, oh, they saw fleas. Well, no, you didn't, because all of these dogs have to apply and get the vet visits from, and all the requirements completed within that week before the cruise. And the guidelines have to be followed from other countries, not just the U.S.
Right.
So those guidelines from, like, for example, the Dominican Republic required a whole slew of vet visits and checkups before they were even able to get on board.
Right. Well, people like that are generally not very well informed because they just want what they want. So they say what they want,
Right.
And even still, even if the dogs didn't have all these requirements or whatever, I still think it was sad for me to hear you just say a couple moments ago, you said, we have the right to cruise too. The fact that you'd even have to say that, you know what I mean, is just tells me a lot about who we are as a people. We should be, I'm not saying all people, but you're not any different than anyone else, and you do have a specialness, I'm going to say, because I don't know a lot of blind people, but I know you, you know what I mean? And you're just as normal and fun and happy. And like, there's not, that's why I didn't know for so long that you were blind when we were on HAPS. I had no idea for like months. It didn't even dawn on me. Now I know I'm not physically in front of you, but that's not the point. Like most people who have, I think we all have issues, right? I was in therapy for so long because I had PTSD over this whole drama with my surgery, and we all have issues. Now I'm not comparing my tiny little situation with yours. You understand what I'm trying to say, but we all have something in our lives that doesn't make us perfect,
Exactly.
So we should be kind and lovely and have consideration and just be better people. Just be better people. And the dog thing, that's just an excuse. That's an excuse for them to pull out of thin air. You know what I mean? And that's what is just ridiculous.
It is. And not just with their group. Last year, there was an incident with Virgin. There was a young man who was a Paralympian who decided to go on a solo cruise. He made his way onto the ship, made his way and found the bar, and they came and told him that he was not allowed to cruise alone.
Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, wait. I think I missed something. Did you say an Olympian, a Paralympic, right? You said an Olympian. So he's what do they say? I don't know why what is it called? A Paralympian.
It's the Olympics for the disabled people.
Right. But why do they call it para?
I don't remember.
It's not for paralyzed, is it? It can't be.
Because there are different people who have different disabilities.
Yeah.
So, and now he was blind, but there are people who have, and make no bones about it, these are athletes.
No, for sure.
True athletes. And just because they may have a disability or what people in society sees as a disability,
Amen.
They are athletes first and foremost.
I'm more familiar with the Special Olympics, right? Which is a different thing, but still Olympians. These are people who are athletes doing what they need to do. But I'm always
Yeah.
confused by para. For some reason, I think like I don't know, but I've watched the wheelchair races. I don't know what they're called. You know, when they're in those sleek little, I don't, they're very thin bikes, you know, they're always at the front of marathons. You know, I've run 3 marathons, so that's why. And there was an Olympian there who started off one of the races of one of the marathons I did. That's why I remember it, right? He did a whole speech or whatever. But I've just never found out what para is, so I have to look that up. I hope it's not like paralyzed because that would be, it can't be. It's got to be an acronym or something.
Because honestly, I do not remember.
Yeah, I don't know either. So we'll look that up. We'll look it up. But yeah, so he was in the bar having a drink.
Yes.
And he wasn't acting belligerent or anything, right? He was just normally having a drink like everyone else. And they just, because they saw him, in a wheelchair or walking in a cane? What? But how would they know he's blind? Oh, because he has a cane.
Yeah.
And they said he had to leave because he couldn't be by himself?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, forgive me, but logic-wise, how does that make sense? Why would they say you must leave on the boat and walk around the boat by yourself and go back to your cabin all alone, but you can't be in the bar by yourself?
No, they actually made him get off the ship.
Oh my God!
Yes. Mm-hmm. They sure did. Now, they put him up in a hotel. The next day, oh boy, the higher ups, corporate saw a lawsuit coming.
Amen.
And they got him back on board, and they actually hired him to do training and as part of the disability team.
Oh, they hired him to help Virgin. Was it Virgin?
Yes.
Virgin have a disability team on their boats from now to the future or something?
Yeah. And train. I'm assuming they train their staff
They
now
train their staff
on how to handle people with disabilities, and know that they do have the right to cruise.
I hate that saying. I mean, I know what you're saying, but who would think you wouldn't have the right to cruise? You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah,
I know. It's such a weird. Do you, and people are gonna be mad at me for asking this, but do you ever feel an alliance or a familiarity with people of color, like, and the struggles that we go through? Do you kind of see some biases that happen because of your disability that equate? Yeah, again, I'm not equating the two, but I consistently see things that correlate in how I feel when people treat me a certain way because of something I have no control over. And even if I did, I'd still stay Black and Latino. But I'm just saying, you know, is that a weird question? I just feel like asking it.
No, but you're right. You are right. Because, we get treated differently.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that, we're mothers, we're fathers, we're students, we're graduates, we have careers.
Doctors,
lawyers.
I mean, I'm sorry, I need to interject. There are so many people, like, having a disability is one thing. It doesn't mean you're incapable of being whatever you want to be. And
exactly,
I think there's a strength in it that we are getting to a place where I hope things are getting better and we're getting smarter about who we are. I mean, maybe it's a little bit too kumbaya or whatever, but seeing people for who they are instead of what you think they are. I would like to think we're moving forward in that way,
I hope so. I know. And I don't know. I doubt I had a part in this, but in my mind, I would like to think I did. Because when my husband and I cruised the first time, I asked him about accessibility on rural Caribbean. Mm-hmm. And they would have an interpreter for the deaf, but I asked them what was the difference between a visual interpreter and an interpreter for the deaf, and they didn't have an answer.
Oh, yeah.
So, but now they tried that.
Yeah. I'm sure you had a lot to do with that. Are you kidding me? Of course you did. I think when people don't speak up, things don't change. And then we keep complaining about it. And so when one person makes something known and questions it, and then somebody else comes in and question, like, all of those things matter, and right. Unfortunately, I'm not going to sit there and pretend like, oh my God, I know everything. I would not have thought of this at all. It's not in my world. I would have never been like, oh yeah, we need to have someone to help the deaf on board. Well, in all fairness to me, I don't cruise. I just want to say that again, but I don't cruise. I've never been on a boat. But I'm just saying in general, because I'm so consumed with just my life, if it's not right, this is what we all do. If it's not an experience to me, then I don't know about it. It doesn't mean I'm against the disabled or whatever. To me, it's not in my world. And so I'm not even thinking about it. And so when somebody says, hey, Carmen, you can't have people here and not have someone interpret for them or not have someone guide them or, oh, okay, thank you. Now I know, and now I will do better. And if people are listening to this, or the people who are listening, you understand this is about everything. People throw the word racism out there and everyone shrills. It's the same concept. If you don't know something, it's okay not to know it, but do not judge it. Do not dismiss it. Do not be angry about it because you think it's affecting you somehow.
Yeah.
Your next question should be, how can I help? Or what can I do to be better about this?
Right.
And
Right.
I really hope that this was, at least, I know it was informative to me. So that really is all that matters, that I learned a few things today, in our little conversation. Is there anything else that you want to add about your friend's organization? Again, can you say it one more time? I'm going to put it up on a banner and stuff when I edit, but can you just say it one more time?
It's youcanegive.org.
So the Cane, it's CANE, is kind of a little twist and kind of cool tweak to their website.
Yes. Over these past few years that they have had this organization, they went to Africa, I think 3 different times, and they are getting ready to go again, I think early next year. But please, if you can, no amount of donation is too small.
Mm-hmm.
You can give as little as $1, $5, $10,000.
Or as little as $10,000, right?
Absolutely. But, it does help people that don't have the opportunity to purchase a cane by themselves because it is just not in their budget. So,
yeah. And I think, here's the thing too. We always say we want to help. Everyone always says, oh my goodness, I would love to donate. I'd love to do some charity work. Here's your chance, because talking about wanting to help isn't the same feeling and love as doing it. And I'm going to say something right now. I am very selfish. And the reason why I love giving all the time is because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like, because it's true, right? When we share, we do get something back. And I don't know why people forget that. Like, just because and sorry, all my friends who are very wealthy will understand where this is coming from. Like, yes, it's a tax write-off. Yes, it's a tax write-off. That's not why we should do it. We should do it because we can, and because it feels good. So I'm not trying to be mean, but I really would like people to just try and give a little something. And if you can give a lot of something, great. If it doesn't, matter to you to give like 500 or $1,000, do it. And like Joy said, like 10,000, if that's good too. But $1 does help, and $1 feels good too. If that's all you got, that's fine.
right.
That's what you can share.
And if you don't have anything to give monetary wise, go to Facebook, go to Twitter, or go to X, go to Threads, go to Instagram and YouTube, and just like and support the channel.
Yeah. And I'm going to have clips up, and we'll have their website up there too. And so you can also just, you could share those clips or share their website where the clips will also have that on there. But just do your part. And here's the thing. The reason why I am so glad that Joy reached out to me is I loved the little bit that I learned about the organization when you asked me. And I think Joy is awesome, and we love her on the show. We love having her, and she's just really good people. And if she believes in it and supports it, so don't I. So I am so glad that we had this conversation. I'm so glad. Is there anything else we're missing or that you want to talk about?
I think we pretty much covered it.
Please donate. And if you have any questions, you can also go to allaboutthejoy.com and you can contact the show and Joy there. I will make sure she gets any messages that may come to us. And we really appreciate everyone listening. Joy, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us today. I'm so glad you took the time. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And everyone, remember, it's always all about the joy. We'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for stopping by All About the Joy. Be better and stay beautiful, folks. Have a sweet day.